Hell yes. Welcome to our Bazaar, a podcast that chats with artists of all types to explore the depths of creativity. Brought to you by the Alternative Gallery. We'll be releasing new episodes every Wednesday with bonus episodes dropping randomly. If you like what you're hearing, you can support this podcast by going to thealternativegallery.com and clicking on the podcast tab. I'm your host, Brandon Wonder, creative director of the Alternative Gallery, a nonprofit arts organization in Allentown, PA, run through the efforts of dedicated volunteers. On this episode of our Bazaar, we're chatting with Sam Fish, a painter from Easton, PA. Sam is also a resident artist at the Alternative Gallery, and you can check out his work on Instagram at whoissam.png. He'll be hosting an art exhibit at the Alternative Gallery on Thursday, April 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m., featuring new works by himself, Dylan Cayazzo, and Chase Reed. Sam, welcome to our Bazaar.
What's up, Brandon? Thanks for having me, man.
I paused there for a second because I thought I wasn't recording.
Oh, nice.
I was like, wait, hold on. So here, first of all, cheers, buddy.
Yep, cheers.
We're finally having this beer together that we've been trying to do for a few weeks. And I want to start by asking you, did you get a chance to watch that DVD I let you borrow?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
Well, so the DVD I let him borrow was Cave of Forgotten Dreams, a documentary by Werner Herzog about the oldest cave art in the world in France. I think it's called Chauvet Cave in southern France, 32,000 years old.
Yep.
I just saw they're doing a 6K restoration screening of it on the big screen.
Really?
Of the documentary.
Where could you see that at?
I haven't looked up screenings yet, but I saw it back in 2010 when it first came out when I was living in New York.
In theater you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think what we should do, I'm glad you haven't watched it yet. Either we're going to go see it in person, or now that we have that projector, I think we should do a screening for the resident artists and hear all the artists here in the building, because it's something all artists should see.
That's a great idea. That's a really great idea. Yeah, I looked into it a little bit. I looked into, what was the director's name again?
Werner Herzog.
I looked into him, and yeah, it seems like he's done a lot of great work. And I feel like that specific film or documentary that you let me borrow is not only for someone interested in cave art, but all artists. So I think that's a great idea.
He is fascinating. He's all over the place. German-born filmmaker. He does narrative film. He does documentary. He's done all kinds of wacky shit. He is a character, and fun fact, my last living hero.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
All my other heroes are dead, man.
Wow, well, hopefully he's in good health.
He's getting up there in age, though. He's looking a little rough. So he's in the process of shooting a film. I think he was in Rome shooting a film, like in secret, which is totally badass.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those filmmakers. He's like, if you're going to go fund your first film, go work in insane asylums and sex clubs. Like,
oh, okay.
He wants you to get like the real world underbelly experience coming into filmmaking, and don't get permits, don't ask for permission, just do whatever you want. It's the artistry behind it, man.
Yeah, that's great advice.
And I think you really dig that stuff too.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to check it out. So keep me posted. I'll hold off on it if you want to do a screening.
If I remember afterwards, after we finish recording this, I will check and see when the screening is, because obviously if we can go see it like in IMAX.
Yeah, that'd be incredible.
You know, the main gallery is cool, but it ain't no IMAX screen.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, all right, we're going to get now into Sam's artwork, because you do a lot of cool stuff. You know, and you have a very unique style to your work, which is unlike much of the art people would expect to see when coming here to the Alternative Gallery. Can you talk a little bit about your artistic style and how you might describe it to someone who might not have seen your work before?
Totally. Yeah, I get that a lot, honestly. For someone like me, though, like when I hear that phrase, or like, oh, it's something I don't often see, it's interesting to me, because I feel like 75% of the artwork that I follow deeply is all like-minded to mine, and like the stuff I'm inspired from. So I see it all the time. But obviously, like if you're going to just a random show, you know, it's not like a upfront type of style, I guess you'd see. But yeah, I feel like my style has been changing for like the last 5 years, and I feel like for the last 3 years it's kind of been what it is now, a little bit more honed in. I'll name off a few artists who I just grew up enjoying, who kind of got me into like fine art. George Condo, for sure. I remember seeing his work on, I think it was Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Kanye, he did an album cover for that, and I was gifted the physical record, and in that record there were like 6 posters, and it was all different paintings that he did for the record. So I was super inspired when I found out about him. Francis Bacon, big inspiration. Obviously Basquiat. Bryant Giles, he's a contemporary artist in New York. His work, I just Instagram stuff. I'll see like a random artist from Houston or something, and just like stuff that I like to see. So I feel like overall in my process, it's usually like I'll see something that I really enjoy, and I'm like, it inspires me to make something like it, and I'll just sort of take that spirit of what the work is and just make it my own. Like I usually just go into something without thinking too much, and it'll turn into, it'll tell me what it is when it's finished. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like overall just seeing a lot of different things, like being a student, and it kind of brought me to wanting to make a certain thing.
Do you have like a specific style you would label your work as?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
That's what I'm asking, because
Yeah,
I don't know what to call it.
I don't know either.
Because I can see those influences you talk about, but it's very different at the same time.
Yeah, I think honestly, one of the things that I feel like I always stayed away from, because I did study art in college. You're taking a lot of figure drawing classes, landscape painting and all this stuff. And, you're learning how to like paint very precisely, and it's like, oh, this is how you do value, this is how the lighting
like a very
is
technical
exactly
approach.
And I always, something inside of me just like always like stayed away from that.
Yeah,
And I just really didn't like it, and like my grades weren't the best in school because of that. But like I always wanted to like be a part of the art community at my school, but like I never enjoyed the projects. So I was making a ton of work in school, but not for my classes. And I don't know, I really fell in love with it during those 4 years of school. And I still enjoyed like having the perks of like having a studio space and like still learning some things, because I totally learned like how to use different, tools and mediums and stuff. But yeah, like that technical side of things, I think that me not wanting to kind of like jump into there and be like, oh, let me draw a figure, but like let me make it like look really, really precise. I just never wanted to. So I feel like that keeps my style unique. So I kind of just run with that.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that you kind of stay away from proper technique, because that's a thing I talk about a lot, where when I'm looking at art, like when people ask me what kind of stuff do you show, I'm like, I don't know. The stuff I want to show is something like, holy shit, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
I mean, there are the things we obviously like street art and certain types of pop art and pop culture, outsider art. But I mean, every now and then something jumps out at me. And when you submit it for the resident artist program, I remember showing your work to a few artists that we have here at the gallery, and they were like, holy shit, this is cool. This is different, right? And one of the things I look for is like that creativity, that heart. Because the way I see it, like anybody for the most part can learn technique.
Yes.
But I don't think you can really teach true creativity.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
And there's like, those are the people I seek out.
Yep.
Right? And it's not necessarily like their work is sloppy. Maybe they could add more technique in over time, but that's also not really necessary.
Yeah.
And you were telling me the other day about kind of like the process behind your painting, about how you just cover it multiple times.
Yeah.
And there's like, when you go into it, do you have like an idea when you start, or do you just kind of freestyle?
I usually, it's usually a freestyle. I feel like seldom do I have like a full idea. Once in a while I'll have like an idea, like, oh, I want to do a painting with, I want to have like a dog or, something. But yeah, a lot of times it's like being inspired from stuff that I'm seeing, and it could be movies, it could be music, it could be literally anything that's just keeping me feeling inspired and just wanting, like, the feeling of just being like, I need to make a painting today. I need to like do something. You know what I mean? I know you can relate. You're like, I gotta go take photo. I gotta go do shit.
You and I just did those badass double exposure instant film photos, which if you're listening to this, you can check those out on social media, anywhere we have this podcast posted, where it's like, I had to make those, dude. Yeah,
and it turned out sick. And that's like, and it comes from that energy of you being like, I need to do, like, I can't wait to test this new, like, I have this idea, I want to test it out. And it's not like you were like, I know exactly how I want to, you're like, let's just do it, let's freestyle. And you did the one, and then you're like, let's try that again. Correct. With this, and it turns into something sick. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of that's the process. I
think that's the fucking approach that most people should have in this world, especially artists. And that's what was part of the fun, because I think if we had a set way that we just approach those photos, they wouldn't look the way they do.
No way.
And I think they're pretty badass.
Yeah, they are badass. And I feel like that's like the excitement for the viewer as well. Like obviously we're getting that excitement from like doing what we like, have to do because like you just feel that urge to do it. But then when people come in and see the stuff, you're like, oh, wow, I've never seen a photo like that. Tell me about it. Explain like, oh, it's a double exposure. You did it there. You had the lighting from the back. Like you're like, yeah, I just freestyled it, but it came out sick. And then it might inspire someone else to be like, you know what? I'm going to go get a camera that I can do double exposures and I'm going to play around with this and they'll do something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, obviously we've seen stuff that we gravitate towards. I see artists that I'm like, I love this person's art and it makes me want to make my own thing. Obviously it's not going to be the same thing as theirs. So I'm being inspired from there. It's such a simple thing, but it's like inspiration and then I go make something and then I inspire other people. You know what I mean?
Well, and again, I like your approach because you're not being like gatekeepy about it. You're not being secretive. Like I've met people in the past, artists who like don't want to share their techniques.
Yeah.
It's like, I love the transparency of it because it's like, first of all, I like people who are super excited about what they're doing to the point where they can't contain it.
Yes.
They just have to get it out. They have to tell anyone who will listen.
Yep.
And like, that's infectious, man.
It is infectious. Yeah.
And like to surround yourself with those types of people, I don't think you could do anything better as a creative.
100%. I'm with you. I had, that reminded me the other day I posted something on Instagram and the caption was, I think everyone can paint because it's like everyone can. Like it's so funny. Like especially like my parents or their friends are like, oh, like like how's the art thing going? Like that's really interesting that you're doing that. And they're like, and I'm just like, anyone can. Like I don't have this like special skill. I just like have this want and need to like do this thing. I urge anyone to do that with anything. You know what I mean? If you love farming, I want you to have a badass farm. I want you to be excited about biking.
You deserve this right here.
Oh, nice.
The reason why is because I love what you're saying, dude. I say the same thing. Like, people are so wowed about the gallery and, like, what we do here. And I don't try to build myself up as some superhero that only I can do what I do, right? I'm like, you can literally do exactly what I do.
Yeah, I remember we were having that conversation a few weeks ago. Yeah. And you were like, I'm not, like, I want other people to, like, have a place like this. Like, I'm not, like, only come to my place. You know, you're like, I want this in the world, you know? So I feel like that's when you have that perspective of like going into something and having that perspective, I feel like you can't lose. You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing holding you back, and you're only going to infect other people to want to do cool stuff, and then the community thrives, and then everything thrives. You know what I mean? And that's what we want. So. And
I feel like if you are really into these things you're doing, you're happy to see more of it in the world.
100%.
And if you're discouraging people from doing it, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And like I always say to people, everywhere I go, I wish it was the coolest place ever.
Right?
I wish everyone I met was the coolest motherfucker out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, that's not how things work. Yeah. But like, let's try to get there still.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, let's aim high. And that's why I try to encourage people. Like, and I'm so glad you do that. And because I think so few don't do that, that is probably where that gap is between artists and non-artists, at least in this country. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, I talk about this a lot on the podcast, people think because they are not an artist or maybe an art collector, they're not welcome in an art gallery.
Yeah.
And maybe if they've been to a place that made them feel that way or have never been to a place and just assume it's like that. And I've met so many people who come here to the alternative gallery and they were like, oh, I didn't know I liked art until I came here, because they have this preconceived notion. And it's like we already have our work cut out for ourselves as artists trying to make stuff and then survive.
Yeah.
But then trying to convince people that you don't have to be an artist to like what we do. So I'm really glad that you push that philosophy. Is that something you hear from other people too? Or is that kind of like a more obscure philosophy?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I just have that philosophy because it's something that I love, and I definitely don't want to like, I want everyone to be inspired of something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we're talking about. It's like, it doesn't have to be art. You don't have to be an artist, but it's so cool like when you meet a random person on the street and you're just talking to them and they're just like super hype about something.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me excited to talk to them. You know what I mean?
It's infectious.
It's cool. It's like, oh, you know about movies? Like, talk to me. I want to know more about movies. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I love when people have a thing.
In a way when you're not talking down to them, that like someone described it perfectly about Carl Sagan and now Neil deGrasse Tyson, why they are so beloved. Mm-hmm. And it's because that they have these technical minds, these scientific minds, but they're able to communicate these kind of advanced ideas in simpler ways. And the reason they're successful and beloved is because when they do so, they don't speak down on people.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's a really important thing we have to watch out for. Like, you know, it's the elitism of things where, like, I know more than you. Why am I wasting my time on you?
Yeah.
Like, that's not how the world should be composed.
Not at all. Yeah, that's a really good analogy because I have seen some Tyson videos and stuff and on YouTube. And the way he does talk about science is he wants you to know more. You know, he wants to share. He loves science, and he spent a lot of time studying and learning a lot of stuff. And he's not like, I'm smarter than you. He's like, here's the information. I'm learning so I can teach other people. You know what I mean? That's a great thing. And that goes the same for any outlet. He's going to be in Easton, by the way.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, I just saw that the other at the State Theater.
Whoa.
I don't know exactly what he's doing, if he's doing a screening of something or if he's just having a conversation, but I saw that the other day.
I will have to look into that.
Yeah.
We should get him on the podcast.
That'd be
Pull that shit off.
It would just be him talking the whole time. We're like, really?
I would just be like, you are amazing. One of my favorite things I ever heard from him, I think it was on Bill Nye's podcast. He was talking about extraterrestrials, and he said, should they exist, they would have to come from so far away and have such advanced technology that for them to even think to communicate with us human beings would be the equivalent of you or I kneeling down to have a conversation with an earthworm.
Oh, whoa.
Right? I love that. I was like, mind blown, dude.
Yeah, you're like, that's a lot.
I was like, that is such a great analogy.
It is.
And he just puts it in perspective. And I think perspective is so good. Sometimes it sucks to know perspective.
Yeah.
But I think more often than not, it's pretty damn good, man.
It is. It definitely is good. It's a two-way street. It's like you have to be open to seeing things differently, and then you really want other people to be able to do that when you're trying to explain something or whatever, because there's nothing more frustrating than being like, no, listen to me. No, like, you're not hearing me. You know?
I know. You mentioned earlier when you were in school about getting involved with the art community there. So you were talking about the students, right?
Yeah, the students.
Did you find what you were looking for? Like, were other people vibing with you? Like the non-technical, that kind of thing?
No, school definitely was not a place where I found that. I really wanted that. I just didn't find it there. I met, honestly, probably my best friend, Chase Reed, who's going to be in the show on April 23rd. I met him in a drawing class when I was in school, and that was like the only friend that I really met through school. Super thankful for that. But it was more so me just like really focusing on what I wanted from this art thing, and if I was going to take more of a corporate path, which I am still doing, but am like doing all that I can to become a full-time artist. And just kind of figuring out like what exactly I wanted from this. You know what I mean? Like there was like a small moment there where I was like taking like a curation class, and I'm like, maybe I'll like be a curator at a museum and just paint on the side, or maybe I'll open my own gallery one day. And then I always just loved painting, and I'm like, this is what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that could stop me from doing it. So I feel like those 4 years was really like it wasn't really spending time with like other art people talking through stuff. It was mainly just like working on stuff and really just learning about myself and stuff like that. So it was beneficial. I met some cool professors there, and I did learn a lot. I know earlier I was saying like I stay away from the technical things, but there was a lot of things within the skills and curriculum that I went through that like I was able to take and use now. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, when it comes to art, there's a great saying that it's good to learn the rules so you know how to break them.
I love that quote.
Yeah, it's a big filmmaking quote because filmmaking is obviously very technical.
Yeah.
But I think it applies to all the arts.
Yeah. And then the best directors out there do stuff that you've never seen before. So you're like, well, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that's basically exactly what I tried to do and that I did. So it was just learning to see like how the art world is going to be. I learned a lot about some people have full businesses on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you go see like, oh, like there's all these employees at a gallery, and there's this person who does this, there's an art handler, and this is how you run a business, and this is how you paint, and all that stuff. So it was, I don't know, really good learning process.
It seems like you have to do a lot of things that you might not want to do in order to have that.
100%.
And I think that's where here at the Alternative Gallery, we were able to do things a bit different because we didn't want to go through those things, right?
Yeah.
Like I tell artists, I'm like, at least start in a place of not compromising. at least start at a place where you're aiming for the dream thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's good that you question those other things, being realistic about like, well, it's hard as fuck to make money as an artist in this world. Maybe I can survive and do these other things, not let it, destroy me by trying to make my living off of my paintings. And, because when you try to make a living off of what you love and it's not successful, it can poison what you love.
100%.
I've experienced it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that happens a lot.
It did, yeah. Yeah, it happened with me. I worked in the film industry, and I became so jaded that when I started the gallery, I couldn't even watch certain movies for a long time. And eventually, my love was reignited for cinema and film. But I learned, it was a cautionary tale there about be careful what you wish for. I now am at a point where I will really only work on my own stuff when it comes to film, because those are long ass projects, man. It's not like a 1 or 2 day thing. You're talking about weeks, months in some cases.
Yeah, film is a long-term medium.
And that's why me getting back into photography here, it's been very rewarding because it's more instantaneous. And it's like, I don't care what anyone says. Every now and then we need some, instant gratification here.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of like cleaning, because you have immediate results, depending how bad of a mess it is, of course.
Yeah. No, I sort of am wired that way as well. I think that might be one of the reasons why I paint like I paint, because I have an idea, I want it out, and I'm taking as many shortcuts as I can to get to that final product. I'll go back over and change it a little bit, but like I'm not really thinking long term while I'm painting. I'm like, I want to get from A to Z fast, and I want to see this final painting done. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, I'm wired like that.
I totally get that. Do you agree with the saying that no piece of art is ever complete? You have to know when to walk away?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of paintings where I sit on them for a few days and then I finally call them done, and then I don't look at it for a bit, and then I go back to it and I'm like, ugh.
Well, that's because you change as a person.
Yeah, 100%.
Not only are you coming back with fresh eyes, but whatever experience you had, even in those few days, it changes you. It nudges you a little bit more in some direction, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, you have to know when to just, all right, it's done.
Yeah, make the new stuff. Yeah, I tend to feel that way about all the paintings that I've done in the past. I am always the most in love with the piece that I just finished, or that I'm about to do. That's my favorite piece I've ever done. Never this old piece.
When you finish a piece, are you like done with it? Like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. I'm on to the next thing.
I love it for like a day or two.
Okay.
And then it's like that.
Yeah.
But like for that first day, like I'm just looking at it and I'm excited to come back to the studio and see it again with fresh eyes. And I'm like, oh, like that piece that you used for the double exposure.
Sure.
I'm still in love with that, but I finished it like 3 days ago. So it's about to be like, all right.
Because it was there. I wasn't sure if that was a finished piece or a work in progress, because I know that's your work wall.
Yeah, that is my work wall.
So I'm like, I don't know, but it still looks badass. I'm still going to use it. And the reason I ask, I'm curious because, when it comes to this thing about like whether or not someone considers something done, I'm so over something when I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because like usually my projects are a drain, like editing this podcast, for example. When I edit this podcast, I am so fucking over it.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet.
This has been a great conversation already, and I'm sure it's going to continue this way to the end.
Yep.
But man, when I'm done editing it, I'm like, thank God I can finally move on with something else. Because I think part of my problem is like I get too many ideas. Mm-hmm. I like too many things. And when I'm doing a stretched out project like that, there's so much time for me to think about the other things I could be doing. And it's like, I have to calm down my excitement because it makes me not want to do the things that I have to be doing in that moment.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's hard. That's why I don't think I would do well in long-term stuff.
Yeah.
Like a long project. I really don't. Even the biggest paintings I've done, I do them, I feel like I've spent maybe a week on a piece, and that's the longest I've ever spent on a painting.
Wow.
So yeah, super, super fast. I like to work fast.
Have you ever collaborated on a painting with another person?
I did one time, and it was with my friend Chase, who's going to be in the show.
Interesting.
And we sold that piece. We did like a little pop-up show when I was living in Pittsburgh. And it was like the first that him and I like self-funded. We were like, oh, look, we'll get a venue and we'll do this. And it was cool. It was like a ton of our friends that showed up and a few people off the street. But we did a collaboration piece, and it was really interesting too because he paints in a way that is like super realistic. Spends a ton of time. He's very premeditated. He'll like have a sketch on the iPad and he'll get the lighting right, and then he'll sit down to the piece and he'll really take his time and make it look like amazing. So I remember we were working on it in my apartment at the time, and he was like in the middle of painting. Like there was like this street sign, and he was like doing all the little strokes and the lighting and everything's perfect. And then I would just like come in behind him and just like with an oil pastel, just like make a random mark on the canvas. So it was kind of like that, like push and pull, and it worked really well actually. So I would totally be down to do that in the future. It'd have to be with the right artist, obviously, but
Yeah.
I would do that again. It was fun.
Interesting. Yeah, because obviously, painting by yourself and painting with another person are two entirely different experiences.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you at least had a positive one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it was so terrible, I'm never doing this again. You're open to it.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. It's got to be,
cool.
yeah. It was also easier because I feel like I would have to be somewhat close to the person and have a relationship because,
Interesting.
it is a very,
Personal thing.
it is a personal
Yeah,
thing.
very
Yeah.
intimate.
Yeah. And you're like making choices for two people instead of one. And especially since I paint fast, like oftentimes, like I said, I'll freestyle for a while and then hate it. So I'm like, oh, I got to paint over this. You have to, it's two people. It's two opinions instead of just one. So with him, it wasn't bad because we're good friends.
You know each other.
Yeah.
Now, as an experiment, would you maybe attempt even one time to paint with someone that you don't know?
I would attempt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be open to.
See what happens.
I'm open to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like who
That's
knows?
awesome.
Yeah. Who knows?
That's
Maybe
super
it would
cool.
come out amazing.
Now, you said you were in Pittsburgh. What kind of like spaces were you working with out there? Were there galleries and spaces like that you were showing in?
Yeah, good question. Because I did a lot of cool stuff when I was in Pittsburgh. I was there for about 3 years. Right when I graduated school, I moved straight there with one of my buddies. We had a small apartment, and then I was just kind of making just enough money to get by and just trying to do as much work as I could.
How
artwork.
much has that changed?
Yeah, not too much. I mean,
The fucking age-old tale, my friend.
yeah, no doubt. But I met some really cool people there, and shout out one of my really good friends I met there, Alex Dalton. He's just an incredible person. He is super smart with business, and he's creative, and I just met him, and he's one of those people that we were talking about earlier where he loves shit, and I'm just like, dude, like I love your energy, you know what I mean? Like I want to work, like I don't know how we're gonna work. He doesn't paint or anything, but I'm like, we got to work together. So we kind of just started hanging out a little bit, and I remember I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do a show. I had already applied to submissions at bigger galleries in the city, and I wasn't hearing back, and it's costing me money to do that, and like send a ton of emails, and I'm just not getting any responses. So I'm like, let me do this by myself and just figure it out. So he was great with business. He's had art shows before, like he's helped set them up and done events and stuff. I sat down with him and I was like, hey, this is kind of what I want to do, and we started building on it, and he was a great help. We had our first show. It was titled Interior. I had a whole collection of 25, 30 paintings titled Interior, and we rented this big space. We had like an open bar, and we did crazy promotion. He was really great with the promotion. We did like 2 videos and a few like Instagram posts, and just really spammed the whole city with flyers and just got everyone we know, and it was a great turnout. I sold a painting. I think at the time I sold a painting for $1,200, and that was by far the most expensive painting I've ever sold. So it was
to this day.
I sold another one after that. We had another show the following year. Him and I collaborated again.
Nice. It sounds like he should be an art manager.
Yeah, no, he's going places. He is he's a very smart individual. But we did another show at this place called Act, just this really unique, sort of with this energy of alternative gallery. They have a cafe and a restaurant, and then they have a metal shop, and then they have a alcohol cellar, and they just do a whole bunch of creative. They like make ceramics there, a whole bunch of really interesting things. And we had a show there, and another great turnout, and sold a lot of work and stuff. So yeah, it was really interesting to see that side of the art world. When you're not working with a gallery, when you're just doing it yourself, you're like, oh, we can actually do this ourselves, and no one's taking a cut. We'll put our money up front and we'll just do it. So there's a million ways to do things, but I left Pittsburgh honestly on a really good step. I was excited to come to this area and kind of try my hand at some different things. So I'm glad I found this place though. I feel at home here.
I'm glad to hear that, man.
Yeah.
And you fit right in with everyone else, and I'm glad that we're able to provide that energy and that space of what you were looking for, because it sounds like you had to go through the same steps that we did of I'm trying other spaces, but they're not working for me.
Yeah.
Like everyone that started the alternative gallery, we're all artists.
Yeah.
And we didn't set out to start a gallery. We tried being a part of other places that either weren't what we needed, or just like you said, like you're paying money and getting nothing out of it. No response, you're not selling work. And I kind of hate that galleries are like that. And right now we're doing the same thing where like we're selling work for artists and we're not taking a cut. And that's for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons right now is because, man, the economy's so rough. And if we can make things a little bit better for artists by not taking that percentage, right? And the lack of opportunity for artists right now, like what other opportunities do you have in this area right now? Are there many?
Not really. I had a show at Sterner Modern a few months ago in December. That was a good experience. That was my first time actually working with a real, like a brick and mortar gallery. And the owner, Jonas Sterner, he's a really good guy. And I was excited to be a part of just like a local show. You know what I mean? There were some really cool artists in there, just local guys and women. But yeah, that was a really cool experience. And I did sell a piece there and stuff. And he's got a beautiful, beautiful gallery going on. And it was cool. But obviously, like you said, like you don't need, like I don't need to go through an actual gallery. Like why, like I don't feel the need to. Like it kind of like was right there in front of me, it presented itself, and I was excited about it. Yeah. And I would do it again. You know what I mean? Like I'm not hating on galleries, but, and especially not Sterner Modern, because that was a great experience and a really cool gallery with a cool owner. But I have been to some galleries, especially when I was in Pittsburgh. I went to some other places, but you go in and it's not welcoming.
It's a little stuffy.
Who wants to go in a place where I don't want to go? I'm not in a museum.
And that's you as an artist, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about non-artists. That's kind of the vibe they get from places.
Yeah, because you're going in, you want to. Yeah, it's like everyone's like not talking to each other, and it's like
just it's high-end retail at that point.
It is. It's like you're going into a fancy store, and you're Correct. Like, and someone comes up to you like, "What are you interested in purchasing something?" It's like, I don't know, like. Sterner wasn't like that at all. It was actually a really cool vibe in there. But I've been to places that are like that, and it's not cool. I don't
a lot of places like that in New York.
And I don't want my work in a place like that.
I know.
Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Because that's you signifying that this place is legitimate and you support how they're doing things. Yeah. And there is like blue chip galleries that don't have anything on the wall less than $100,000 that are taking 50%. Like those galleries are worthwhile for certain artists because like. Maybe you or I can't get $100,000 for a painting. So even at a 50% commission, you're still getting a ton more than you would otherwise. But I think that's a extremely, extremely small minority of artists. And I'm not just talking about where they are in their career, but most people will never reach that point, right? You're not selling $500,000 pieces of art here. So I think a lot of the galleries are banking on artists wanting to be that or getting to that point. And there aren't enough galleries for those artists who are just artists, just trying to get by and trying to not work extra jobs.
Yeah, I know exactly. I think that's why a place like this is so important, because not only is a place like this important for artists, because it definitely is, but it's also important for the community. Like there's people who like they're not artists, but they like it. They enjoy being a part of the community. They can come here, feel welcomed. It's not weird shit in the air. Everyone's walking around peacefully, having a great time. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to paint, but it's like that vibe is like good for everyone, not only artists. You know what I mean? So I hate when you see like galleries or places like that are like trying to be like community based.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not accepting.
And they're always throwing around community. It's like, look at you. It's like I love this saying: any king who has to say he's a king is no king at all.
Exactly. There you go.
Right. If you're a communal space and you got to keep advertising your communal space, you should just be proving that by doing what you're doing. Like that always concerns me, right? And I think part of the reason things work here is because I like so many things, and because it's not just art. Like we have all that pop culture stuff in the hallways. We have the TVs. So people that might not be interested in the paintings are like, holy shit, I had that when I was a kid. Oh my God, look at this stack of TVs. So there's so many things to start pulling people in. And once they're in that way, I think they have this freshness about how they go and look at the rest of the building.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit more open. Like, okay, this isn't the stuffy art space that I thought it was going to be. And now I can walk through this place and feel a bit different. And my hope is that, obviously I want them to come back here, but more importantly than that is I want them to go and look at the rest of the world differently after that. I want them to try to go to other spaces, right? Like we just had a metal show this past weekend, right? Heavy metal. And I always ask people, like, whenever there's a show coming up, I'm like, have you ever been to this specific genre of a show? No, I've never been to a heavy metal show. More reason for you to come out.
Yeah, Try
check it out. It does not have to be a genre of music.
Yeah, that changes you.
So, you've been here for a while, not quite a year yet. You came in the summer, I believe, right?
I think I've moved in August, yeah.
August, yeah. So, what has your time been like here? You've seen a variety of different events. We just had an open house last month. What's it been like?
It's been great. Yeah, I've met a lot of cool people. The open houses are amazing. Like, speaking to what you were just talking about, like the open house is a really interesting thing, I think, because not only can you see the entire space, but you can see how it's being used. And you can walk into someone's studio and see how they work. Like, you see so much from how someone's studio is set up.
Yes.
And you see works in progress. You see, oh, they got a couch in here. Oh, they hang out in here. Oh, they got a coffee machine and they actually stay. And it's like, it's really interesting. It does change the way that you look at other things. You know what I mean? And like last month's open house, we had a short animation film and there's a show going on and there's a workshop and it's just, it's amazing. So
the soldering workshop that was right next to your studio.
Yeah, there's always so much cool stuff. Yeah, you can tell that the community comes out for it too. How people have First Friday type stuff. People look forward to that kind of thing and it's a thing to do in Allentown. You know what I mean? Like, Allentown's got how many people? 150,000 or something?
It's like about 130,000.
Yeah, people want to do cool stuff.
Yeah, and there's not much here, unfortunately.
No, this is probably the coolest thing, at least that I've ever seen.
I agree, and it's not just because we're running it. It's
it is cool.
We try to take all the little interesting, cool things we find and let it inspire us and build up our space.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. You have like things you can get involved in, classes. You have
all
kids
the
classes.
workshops are free at this point too.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane. The only thing you can do is just keep doing the right thing and keep making awesome shit and make this place awesome. And people see it. You know what I mean? People come here and it does change them. You know what I mean? So
and I think what makes it very easy for us is that there are so many interesting people out there, so many interesting creators, and if we can connect with them, if they can't have a studio or maybe exhibit in a show, just like, like the Slaps and Throw Ups show that we do every June. That is our sticker and wheat paste show with artists from around the world. And we get, last year I was like 150 artists from around the world.
Wow.
And some of those people will never be able to step foot in this building because of where they live. And it's just too much of a task to get here.
Yeah.
Right? But they still found a way to be a part of this place.
Yeah.
And I love that we can do that, man. So it's like it's not limited. And, I like that nonprofits can be these small vessels that can pivot and do things very quickly, right? Like I look at nonprofits as they should be doing what government isn't.
Yeah.
Because government is a big, complicated ship to move, right? But if we can identify a problem at the ground level and take immediate action, let's do that shit.
Yeah, that's awesome to see because a lot of things don't work like that. Even other places when you have like investors or people funding it, it's like, are we allowed to do this? And they're like, I paid money, so no.
I know.
And you're like, oh, I guess, sorry guys, like we can't do that really cool thing we were thinking about doing. But
and
like
we have to have creative control here.
Yeah.
We have to. Otherwise we would not be here.
No,
we wouldn't be able to do it.
It'd be a lot different. Yeah.
Well, and I think part of it is, first of all, we lucked out in this situation and, to have this building where the property owner had it as art studios, but it was just kind of sitting here and he needed a group like us to come in and run the space. And now we're in a path where we'll eventually purchase it. Right now, we're kind of still at his mercy, but we do have creative control of the building due to all the work we do. We're not like chasing this infinite growth that I think a lot of people go for. Like we've had all kinds of people and companies dangle money in front of us. Like we know you need money, but we want you to do things like this. And we're like, damn, bro, like that money would be life-changing, but nah, we're gonna take our time and take longer to get there and do it exactly the way
that's rare.
that we want. Me and my two other co-founders, Jay Echeverria and Rob Regal, last week we were just talking about this where, every time we go to a place and it's either meets our expectations or it doesn't, there's just a contrast of what we get to do and how that place has to do things, right? And I said to him, we're so fortunate that we don't have to do things that way. And eventually, when we are in a position where we can buy this building and have that guaranteed long-term future here, we get to say we never compromised. We did it exactly the way we wanted to do it.
See, that's important.
And I feel guilty because I wish that existed in other places. I don't want to be the only one.
Yeah.
I don't want to pat myself on the back because we did such a great job.
Yeah.
I want to see us doing such a great job that other people can have what we have. And I'm not just talking about in the Valley. I'm talking about all around the world. I think people need stuff like this, man. The spirit of this place. To take no shit, but, you know, do no harm at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you've been here for a while and you've been focusing on your work. And I've seen you get more and more involved with things, which is really nice because we don't really have a precedent or like these standards for when an artist comes here. Like, you need to be involved. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like, some artists just want to lock themselves away and create, which is what you did for a while.
Yeah.
And now you're taking this next step with the show you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you approached me up about doing the show. So tell me about the show and why you wanted to do it.
Yeah. So with the show, I felt like I was just in a place where I had enough brand new work that's never been shown before. So obviously every time I do that, it's starting to fill up the studio space, and I got my house is filled with new work, and, you know, I'm excited about the new work. And, you know, why not try to have a show here than, you know, do like, this is like we were just talking about, like, this is the place that I feel most comfortable, that's like the best for my work and the best for anyone's spirit. This is where I want people to come to see my work. So I'm like, this is perfect, you know what I mean? So that's when I reached out to you. And then the second part of the show, I just didn't want to have a solo show. I wanted other people to be involved, and
I really respect that, by the way.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's more, I like building, like, especially with Dylan, I'm excited to like have a show with him because I've been a fan of his work ever since I, you know, first saw it on Instagram. And then I know he was having a show across town here, and that's like in his like his little hometown. Like, I think that's like the neighborhood he grew up in, and I went to that and I was blown away by that. It was really cool. So I just been a fan, and yeah, I reached out to him and was like, dude, you should definitely come do this. Like, I mean, this is the best. Like, an artist can't say no to this place. Like, oh, do you want to come hang your work, hang out in your town, and if you sell anything, you take all the money still? Like, they're not taking anything from you. So you can't say no to that, you know? So I knew he was going to say yes.
That's great.
And he has a ton of work.
And he was saying how we actually gave him his first chance ever to show art all the way back in the day when we were still on Hamilton Street.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was like, dude, that's right. That was your very first thing. And he was just, again, because he lived down there in downtown Allentown, he was just walking by and saw the space. And to see him grow and evolve as an artist all these years later,
yeah,
it's rewarding.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I forgot about that crossover there.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, he has so much work. And like we were talking about earlier, like, his work is like super meaningful. And I'll be proud to like be able to see my work next to his and just, you know, spend the night having him here and stuff and to see the show. And then I also reached out to my other friend, Chase, from Pittsburgh. He's a tattoo artist full-time now.
That's your school buddy.
That's my school buddy. Super proud of him. He was doing a lot of stuff, and then he ended up falling in love with tattoos, and he's doing it full-time now in a shop, and he seems to love it. So. And
he's driving all the way out from Pittsburgh.
Driving all the way out to
My
Pittsburgh.
Man.
5 hours. So.
Hell yeah. He's going to stay a couple days, I hope.
Yeah, I think so, till Friday. So
nice.
I'm excited for that. And yeah, he's been painting forever too. You know, even before I think I was painting, and he makes really cool work. And I know he had like 10 paintings that he's never shown in a gallery or anything like that. So I know he just had them in his house. He just made them for himself. So I was like, dude, this is the perfect time for you to come and put them on display. You know what I mean? And you know, I like doing cool stuff with other people. You know, it's boring if you're doing it alone.
No, and that's really great that you did that. Yeah, because, and you know, some people in your position will be like, you know what, I've had a studio here for a while. This is my place. I have so much work. I'm just going to do a solo show. And I feel like you should really only want to do a solo show if you're like invited to do that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we have these small group shows, and I want to do more of those.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening and they want to do that, reach out to us, man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll open the space. Unless you're an older artist, don't ask to do a solo show.
Yeah.
Bring some buddies like Sam did over here. That's the way to do it, man.
You gotta have a street cred to do a solo show.
Well, and then, you know, we talked about we're gonna hang the show. Actually, we're hanging the show the same day this podcast comes out.
Yep.
So this podcast comes out on Wednesday, the 22nd in the morning, and then later that day we're hanging the art show.
Yep.
And I know that night when we hang the show, even that is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Because when I saw Dylan, he did a talk at Lehigh University last week that I went to, and I was like, yeah, we're hanging the show on Wednesday if you want to come out. He's like, I'm allowed to be there? I'm like, the fuck do you think this is, man? Like, yeah, please come out. He's like, I'm so honored. I'm like, you should definitely be there. We want your input.
Yeah.
You're fun to hang out with. Mm-hmm. Like, be a part of it, dude.
Yeah,
And
that's what this place is all about.
Well, and I think like, maybe galleries, I don't know how galleries work. That's why we call ourselves the alternative gallery, not just because we were doing it different. It was a built-in excuse when we do everything wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why don't you do it this way? We're alternative.
Perfect name.
We don't know. 14 years in, I still know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. As much as we might make it look like, no. We're, in the famous words of Buzz Lightyear, falling with style, right?
Nice.
That's what it is, right? I don't know how other galleries do it if they don't allow artists to be there. Maybe artists are a real pain in the ass about, I want this piece like that, or maybe they're very particular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I want the artist to be there in most cases to have input.
Yeah,
It just
I
seems
think
more
that.
genuine.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think that larger galleries probably have a curator. But yeah, I mean, like the artist is the one who made it. So, I mean, obviously they have the best opinion probably of like what pieces should be by one another. I think it's great if you have like multiple people working on it together. I think like if we're all out there, all of us, and we're all like, oh, let's make this look awesome. Oh, I think it should be like this. I think it should, you should do a gallery wall style. I think that's how it's going to work out best.
Yeah, and then we get a bonus hangout out of it too.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, what can really go wrong?
Yeah.
Like, well, this piece is a little bit higher than I wanted it to, or like, okay, get over it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
No, it'll be fun. I'm excited. Oh, I will say about the show, there's no title to it. We just called it an art exhibition. I think that's because the work, at least that I did and that Collazo presented me, he was showing me he had some, just random works that he's never shown before from his vault. He has a storage unit with a ton of paintings, and he was like, I've never shown these. I don't think any of like the people that even I don't even think he posted them on Instagram. So I think that was really cool that he pulled some out. It's not necessarily all like brand new work by him. Unseen, which I think is really awesome. And then for my work, I mean, I posted most of the work that's going to be in the show on my Instagram, but it's never been shown in a gallery. And also, it's a lot of different styles that I've been playing around with. So it's not like I'm not like titling it a collection. It's not like a collection of cohesive works.
It's very
loose. It's loose, and it's stuff that is raw that I've been making over the past, 3-4 months here, and I was just excited to show it. So I'm like, I don't have like like a collective name for this work.
Yeah.
Let's just do an exhibition with some cool people and have everyone come out. It's just fun.
I like the fact that you put thought into not doing a name. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I honestly,
and that's the kind of insight to art that I think a lot of people don't get to hear about.
Yeah. Because I remember I was trying to think of a name possibly, and then I just made the flyer, and I'm like, just art show. I was like telling the other artists in the show, I'm like, yeah, let's just call it an art show, because there's no like, I'm not going to title it. It's not like a movie. It's not like this cohesive idea that flows. There's a beginning and an end. It's just
it reminds me of like a 80s like punk show. Like,
yeah, it's just like
punk show. Here are the bands.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is.
We all just made cool work, and we're excited to show everyone, and that's it. So
it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
It doesn't. No, sometimes it is, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't need
Not
to be
everything
anything.
has to have branding.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you do prints of your work too?
I've never done that. No.
No.
I've done
Interesting.
digital works that I've printed out, but I've never photoed and printed a piece.
Is there any reason, or that you just haven't done it?
Thought about it. I forget what artist this is. It stuck with me. I don't know why, but they went on this like rant one time, and they were like hating on prints.
Yeah.
And it kind of just stuck. I'm like, I thought about it differently, and I'm like, they have a good point. It's like,
do you remember what their point was? I'm curious.
It was basically something like, it makes the original piece less valuable, not even price wise, just valuable, like a piece of work. Like.
Yeah.
When
I've
you're
heard that
multiplying,
argument.
yeah. So it's like, it's not even like I fully believe that. I just remember hearing it.
I've heard that argument. I've been in this conversation, and I've countered that argument, and this is what I counter it with.
Okay.
And I get what they're saying, but the thing is, I think for certain pieces of art to reach that like cultural significance, it almost has to be in mass rotation.
Yeah, you need to see it often and be able to maybe have it in your house. See, I've purchased prints before. I have them of my own because I can't get the original, obviously. Yeah. So I can't really hate on it too much. But I would be open to it.
The reason I like always push back against people who are against prints is because it always comes from like the collector side of the art world, which is a side of the art world that I hate.
That's a good point.
And it's like, I've dealt with people who are collectors that come in here, and I take them in the print shop, and they're like kind of annoyed that we make prints here.
Yeah.
And I talk so much shit that I change their mind, and they buy a print on the way out.
Yeah.
And
nice.
And the thing is, like, they want there to be a scarcity, so that it makes the one worth money.
More
right?
more valuable, like, to money. Yeah.
I fucking hate money.
Yeah.
I'm about the cultural aspect of things.
It's
right?
totally more important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think if we had a larger appreciation for culture in the United States, we would have much more support for the arts.
Oh, we definitely would. Yeah.
We absolutely would.
Yeah.
Also, another point for me with Prince is that art should be accessible to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think if someone really loves a piece and they can't afford a $600, a $2,000 painting, they could afford a $20 print for the most part.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you can make something available to everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a great point.
Here's a sticker, you know, here's a postcard. I don't think it diminishes the work. And I really do feel that, you know, some people will do like a limited edition print, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with that. But maybe make just a certain set limited and don't cut yourself off that I'll never make those prints again. Because when you hear limited edition prints, that really started with like litho printing and stuff like that, where when you would actually start with a printing block, the number one print would be the most detailed one. And every time you made a print, it degraded a little bit, so it wasn't as nice.
Got it.
So that's kind of where limited edition prints came from. Again, I'm still cool with limited edition prints, but the way I think is like if a print is going to sell and if it's cool, why limit yourself?
Yeah.
Especially if you're struggling to make money as an artist.
Yeah, because that's another, if you're limiting, that's another way to make it more valuable.
Do you vend too? I know you do gallery shows and stuff. Have you ever gone out and like set up a table and did vending?
I've never done that. No, I would like to.
That's the case where you're going to need more prints and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. Because I have pretty big, large works and stuff.
And you don't want to take 10 paintings out to every event, dude.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I would definitely be open to doing that. Especially there's some that I really actually like looking at and like having. Like I have a few prints of other artists and I really like looking at them and they look nice. So I would just do it obviously the right way, something that fits the work. Of course. But yeah,
that's you.
Yeah, 100%.
You should do that. Yeah. I never knew if you had prints or not. I never thought about it, and as we were talking, I was like, I wonder.
It is nice. Usually in all of the other shows I've been in that were like put together by me and my friend Alex, we would always think about that idea of like, we want this show to be accessible to everyone. So we would set it up as, obviously I always have like the 20 paintings that are like large, that are like a ton of work that I put into them, that are, you know, the larger pieces, you know, that are costly. And then we would always be like, okay, well, like let's do a run of 10 drawings that you did, and we'll have those, and those will be $50.
Yes,
and then we'll have stickers and all that stuff.
You absolutely are on the right track. There's a great book. I think it's called Marketing Fine Art Photography. And even though it's about photography, it could be about any art medium, right? And the guy that writes it, Alan, I forget his last name. It starts with a B. But he talks about how when he goes out, he has, just like you said, that big expensive piece. Mm-hmm. And he refers to it as like the masterpiece. Mm-hmm. Like not masterpiece, like my greatest piece, but like the biggest, most expensive one, where you have that contrast where this is a $5,000 piece and this is a $300 piece. It gives that feeling that it's much more affordable.
Yeah, 100%.
And there are those different levels. And I think that's super important, man.
It is. That was proven to me at the shows, because I had probably 50 stickers that were like, you know, not just like a logo. It was like my actual artwork. Yeah. Like it was like these drawings that I did that I like, you know, cut out on Photoshop and put onto a sticker. So it's like, it's real artwork that I made, scanned. Those all went. Basically all of the hand drawings went. Good, because there was a lot of people there that were like, you know, I've seen your work around the city. I like your work a lot. You know, I don't have, just like me, I can't go out and be like, oh, I love this $800 painting, like I'll buy it. Like I'm like, I wish I could afford to buy your painting.
Even if you could, you only have so much wall space too.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that's a good point that Dylan brought up to me, actually, because he was in my studio a few weeks ago and was like, oh, I was looking at that piece when you posted that one for sale, and I kind of wanted to buy it, but then I thought, I can't even fit this in my house. So it made him think, oh, I want to make some smaller pieces, because, you know, like a lot of his customers are like, you know, I can't, like, I love seeing the 4 foot by 4 foot piece, but, you know, I can't put that in my home. You know, a lot of people have apartments. Like, I can't really fit that in my house.
Dude, to me, there is no art medium more accessible than stickers.
Yes,
everybody loves stickers, man. You could slap it on your car. You could slap it on your water bottle. You could slap it on a notebook.
Yep.
And it's another way to also, you know, someone else to promote your work. Not that you want to look at it that way, but these unexpected benefits that might come out of it too.
Yeah, it just is what it is because that's the truth.
And I know Jay Echeverria here at the gallery, one of the co-founders for a while, and I know that they do it on and off. They'll do like a sticker pack.
Oh, nice.
Well, they'll do like 4 printed stickers and then 1 handmade sticker in a pack.
Oh, I saw they did that at the last open house.
Yes.
I walked by and I saw some out there.
Yes.
Very cool.
They always sell out of them. I don't know if there's any more up there, but I just love that.
Yeah, it's
so
a cool
you're
idea.
getting a bag of pre-made stickers, but then every bag has a one-of-a-kind sticker.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's badass.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I own this thing that, not everyone else has, but it's affordable,
And something like that too. I mean, so many times Jay has been helping here, like volunteering at a show, like working the bar, working the door, something like that, and just sitting there scribbling, making some stickers, and boom, gonna slide these into my sticker packs later. Like,
cool.
And again, it's something that keeps it fresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like those little things you can do in between the bigger things.
Yeah.
And when you like a lot of things, when you're a person that does a lot of projects, that's kind of the way you have to function.
It is, yeah. And I mean, to make a living as an artist in today's climate, you have to be, adaptable and be able to, do things, if you need people to buy work, then you have to make stuff that's affordable at the end of the day,
Yeah. Like, what other things do you think that, like, just regular people can do to support the arts? Because, like, you're a great artist, man, and I wish that you can do this full time. Like, what do you need? What do people like you need to do that?
Yeah, that is a great question that I wish I thought about more because I'm always so focused on like what I have to do to get by to do this.
It's just survival, basically.
Exactly. It's like, okay, like I have to do this much, like, and like this place is so affordable, but it's still like, it's not like the easiest thing to do. It's like, I need to sell a piece this month or I need to do this, it's tough. So, I wish
it's
that
only affordable because you're in the program.
Yeah.
If you went through the building owner, it's not affordable.
Yeah, that would be a different story. I don't know if I'd be here.
I don't think any of the artists would be here.
But I wish I thought about that idea more. I think I wish all artists were able to think about that more because then maybe we could do a little bit more for that. But I think overall, it's just, I feel like there is such a big community in my small community of, like on Instagram, I have not even 2,000 followers. Like I did my thing in Pittsburgh and a decent amount of people know me from there. But, I have a lot of people who have seen my work and are like, oh, I really like your work. I would like to own your work one day, So I feel like that's the biggest compliment I've gotten is like the majority of the people who step into like my little creative world and see the work, enjoy it. And they like it, and they say, I hope one day I hope I can have one of your pieces in my house. Great. So it's like, okay, how do I take that into like, hopefully everyone getting a piece at one day so that I'm able to just paint for people or whatever? I don't know the answer. I think it's having places like this so that people can come freely and see the stuff. You know what I mean? Like the open houses have honestly been really, really amazing for me. The first open house, I remember I saw you the one day and you were just like, it was a little bit shortly after I moved in here. And I was...
Yeah, because I think we had one in September, so it was like a month
later. It was
later.
a month in. So, and I was super... I was hiding in my studio space for that first month, just kind of working on stuff.
Yep.
And you were like, oh, open house, whatever day. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm looking forward to that. I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be like, though. Mm-hmm. And then I come and I just kind of like, have my stuff set up or whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is bigger than expected. And people came and I met my new friend, Peter, who is a local art collector. He purchased 2 pieces from me.
Badass.
Brought other people over to see. And I met a lot of people that day. And I was like, wow, this is... So, just like that little... Me just coming to the open house really like made me feel like I have my foot in the door of like this Allentown art scene or just like the whole Lehigh Valley art scene. And I don't know, it's just stuff like that, you just got to be involved in stuff and you just got to, put yourself out there even if it's uncomfortable, meet new people, talk to people, go see other people's shows. It doesn't always have to be about your stuff. Like go do, just go be a part of it, you know?
Well, and I think you nailed it where you said, places like this, and it's like people just starting a thing. Like, again, it's not complicated, right? Like find, even if it's 1 or 2 people that are into the kind of things you are, and you can't find a place, you can't find a hotel hallway like we did. We'll meet in a park. Start somewhere, right? Like when we left a hotel, we thought our life was over, and then we moved into this place. which I jokingly refer to as an art castle because it is.
It is.
I mean, it's 25,000 square feet larger than the White House. It's a huge space,
It's huge.
And I mean, not everybody needs a place this big. It's kind of like monstrous, and we only have, the first floor and fourth floor with studios, and the basement is kind of like our own mishmash of crazy things, and there's so much space to evolve into. But again, like just having spaces where artists can go and then people that like art can go.
Yeah.
Just start there.
No,
And,
I think...
and if you have no budget, just start somewhere where they're not going to charge you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's tough. I know the other things that I've done in the past that are sort of relatable to this is like going to like, First Friday stuff like in Pittsburgh or in other places. And, you go see there's like, little galleries open, or there'll be like a record store with like someone's work in there. And there's cool stuff like that, but like it's nothing like this.
Yeah.
This is like a whole place, and it's open. There's stuff going on. It's not just one Friday a month.
Yeah.
It's always.
Well, and we used to do our open house once a month up until the pandemic, and it was the last Thursday of the month, right? And then the city was establishing third Thursday, and we tried doing it then, but we were like too far removed from downtown for that to be beneficial for us. And then we kind of established it. We're like, we don't want to just do them on Thursdays. And we don't want to do them every month, because we found when it became too regular of a thing for the open house, people would be like, I'll skip it this month and go to next month's.
Yeah.
So the fact that we do them less frequently, it's more of a special event where if people miss out, you just miss out.
Yeah.
Right? And now we get to do them randomly. Like the one we just did was on a Thursday. The one in June is on a Saturday, and it's all damn day.
That one's going to be... I'm excited for that one.
The June one's always our biggest one, because it's not just... We have the sticker show in the main gallery, the wheat paste exhibit in the basement, and then we have people live wheat pasting down there.
Wow.
We have live murals and graffiti both in the basement and outside on the building. And then we have communal sticker walls and stuff upstairs as well.
Sick.
So it's interactive.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to be an artist. We have stations where people can just draw and sketch and make their own things, not just slap up stickers they find, but make their own sticker.
Yeah.
With the idea that we talked about earlier, anybody can do this.
Anyone can do it.
We're not
Anyone can
special.
come have fun.
You
know
might
what I mean?
like what I do, but I'm no more special than this person over here.
Yep.
And I'm glad you have that attitude. That's the kind of people I want to surround myself with, man.
Yeah.
Truly. And another thing I think, in addition to just creating spaces, even when you have no resources, is touching upon what we just said too about, doing prints, doing stickers, making it accessible. Those people who want to own one of your prints or one of your pieces, hey, they might not have the wall space or $500 to buy a piece right now, but hey, if you got $25, I'll mail you a print.
Yeah.
Get them hooked, get something out there. And another good point about, why prints are beneficial too is even if you sell the original, you can sell prints forever.
True. You have that forever.
Why
Yeah.
make money off your piece one time?
Yeah, if you make a masterpiece and it's just gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hope I sold you on prints.
Yeah. No, I think you did actually. And I can make them here, so easy enough.
You and I will sit down and we'll have either Peter photograph them or scan them, and we'll print them together.
Yeah, sick.
Right there behind my wall there in the print shop.
Looking forward to that. It's gonna be awesome.
Is there anything you would like the fine folks listening to know about you, your art, or the upcoming art show you're doing with your buddies?
Yeah. I mean, I just hope that everyone can come and just be open. Just be open-minded. Just have a good time. Doesn't matter. Everyone's gonna be here. Community's gonna be here. Talk to someone new. Talk to someone who you've never talked to before. Everyone is so chill. Like, if everyone could just like understand, like everyone, like especially if you're here, like anyone I've ever met here is cool.
Yeah.
Like someone's into something. You know what I mean? Like I went into Peter's studio last time I was here. First time I saw it, I didn't know he had
Peter
both.
Italiano.
Yeah. He has the two studios.
Yeah.
I just talked to him for like 30 minutes. Just about, I saw he photoed John Lennon. I'm like, what?
Yeah, dude.
And he's just telling me about living in New York it's like, you don't know, like you just have a conversation with someone and you're like, this person had such an interesting life. I don't know. I just wish everyone had that perspective of the world. Everything would be much more peaceful. Everything would be so beautiful and things like this would thrive and you wouldn't, I don't know.
And the thing is, like, you don't need everybody on board. You just need enough of the right people.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need everyone. I feel like
We
enough
would
of the
like
right
to have
people,
everybody, but
and then more come.
yeah,
You know,
and somebody like Peter, he's a great example, and he's done an episode of the podcast when we basically first were starting it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best fashion and glamour photographers I have ever seen
He's sick.
work by. And he's not out there patting himself on the back about it. He is just so laid back, and it's like, yeah, I did that stuff, whatever. I'm doing other stuff now, right?
Yeah.
And he's the kind of guy, he didn't want to do prints. I had to push him in. It was a long process.
Really?
And now look what he's doing. His work has totally evolved because now he's doing like mixed media with it. He's painting on them. He's doing all kinds of digital stuff. So him just printing his work, it wasn't just, now there's more quantity of what he does. It literally changed the kind of art he was doing.
Yeah, evolved his work.
In a way that I don't think I've ever seen anybody take it that far.
I've never seen anyone paint, and that might have been a thing, I just never seen it. Someone paint on a photo like the way that he did, and I saw that piece that he was working on.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And he's always experimenting. He's always back there working on something. I heard him fucking sanding something back there yesterday. I'm like, what is he doing? I don't even want to go check. I want to see it. He's either going to come in and ask me to come look at it, or I'm going to see it when it's finished. And I love that because you never know what you're going to find here.
Yeah, good people around. So.
And that's why, like, for open house and stuff like that, when, because we have studios, because it's a lot of artists can't afford to have a studio, right? So the empty spaces we have, we allow artists to come do pop-up studios for the night for open house.
Yeah, that's huge.
And
that's huge.
Who wants to have an open house when like the majority of the building's empty?
Yeah, no one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's huge. Like even when I was like first starting, like if there was something like that going on, it would attract me so strongly because it's like like a earlier artist or someone that's like, you're fiending to show work.
Yeah.
Like you have so much, you're just like, I want to be a part of it. And like here you could be like, oh, I have 5 paintings. Like, oh, here's a room for you. You could set up your own room. It's like, that's insane. That's like a
or
crazy.
If you don't have enough for that, you could do a vending table. That's also free.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
An amazing opportunity.
And I think the reason it's like that is because we went through all those same steps.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we are just some person that is starting a gallery trying to make money.
Yep.
We have and are artists who have tried to make a living off our work doing all those same steps.
You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like people have mocked us before, like because we've touted ourselves as an artist-run gallery. All galleries are like that. No, they're not.
Yeah, no, they're not.
That's why we specify it. It's an artist-run gallery, meaning like we know what artists go through, and we're trying to hook artists up, not make money off of artists.
Yeah. Yeah, there was an artist at the last open house that was set up at a little vending table in the main gallery room.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend and I were walking by, and she was like, oh, I really like that painting. So we came back later, and we ended up buying it.
Nice.
And it's like, yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm selling it. It was on a piece of cardboard, and now we framed it. It's hanging in our living room. It's a really, really cool piece.
Now, how often do you find that, a lot of times when you're selling stuff, it's to other artists?
Yeah, it happens quite often.
Quite often, right?
Yep.
How about trading work? You do that a lot too?
I want to do that.
See, that's where prints are easier to let go, man.
True. I want to do that with Dylan. We'll see.
I swear to God, I'm not just trying to get a new customer for the print job out of this. I swear to fucking God. I just think that you'll benefit a lot.
No, I think it'd be worth it.
Well, maybe we can get you a couple prints for the opening if you got the pieces ready to go.
Okay.
Peter can photograph. I mean, it's all right here in the building.
Yeah, I know. That's the cool thing about this place.
We just can't do it Monday because I'm in New York for Stoner Holiday.
420.
420.
It's going to be fun.
Washington Square Park. If you're there, come past the joint.
Yeah, right? You probably don't even have to bring anything. There's going to be enough to go around.
That's true. You could just be a fucking mooch and just get away with it. Yeah. And it's cool because it's legal in New York, so the dispensaries there, they always have like crazy 420 deals.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go and you buy something, you always get something free. So I'm not going to go there and buy anything because I'm pretty poor right now.
Yeah.
But
those dispensaries, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm scared. I'm scared of that.
But I mean, dispensaries are good because at least you know you're getting.
True.
When you get shit off some random dude in an alley, man, you don't know what is.
That's a good point.
They're like, oh, it's sour diesel. No, it's not.
I would go to a dispensary if I'm like, give me like, I want not good flower. I want stuff that's grown in someone's backyard.
Bro, all you got to do is drive across the bridge from Easton to New Jersey.
Phillipsburg.
And you got a weed store right there.
Yeah, I know.
Right there, bro.
There's always a line for that place, I'll tell you that.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Big line.
Because I can't get it legally in PA.
Oh, that's true.
Yet.
That's probably why.
So
but you're
I
allowed to
get
just
it
cross
illegally.
You're allowed to just cross borders and
No, you're fucking and you're goddamn drug smuggler. Feds are gonna come after you. Get a helicopter fucking hovering over your apartment at 3 a.m.
That's funny too, because that place is literally
Why
like
isn't
on
Sam
the
at the
border.
art show? He went to Jersey for weed.
Yeah.
He can't make it.
Not looking good.
Yeah, wait till after your art show to go do that.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I'll
Especially
celebrate
now.
after.
Because all the shit we talk about the federal government, I'm sure they're listening and watching us.
Yeah.
So I always joke about that the vehicle out there that looks like the like a Fed vehicle.
Oh wait, the white van.
Yeah. And we always joke about because it's like a some food vehicle and it has like a painting of a chef, right?
Yeah.
And we always joke about how the eyes open and someone could look out right
Oh
there.
my god.
Yeah,
They're reading
watching
your
us.
blog.
They're fucking That's true. Well, it's going to be a great show. I'm sure you're going to have an awesome turnout. I know a lot of the artists in the building and other artists we've chatted with. They're very aware of it. They're very excited for it.
Cool.
You're going to have a cool turnout.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited.
Once again, we've been chatting with Sam Fish, a painter from Easton, PA. Sam is also a resident artist at the Alternative Gallery, and you can check out his work on Instagram at whoissam.png. He'll be hosting an art exhibit at the Alternative Gallery on Thursday, April 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m., featuring new works by himself, Dylan Collazo, and Chase Reed. Sam, thanks so much for joining us on the Art Bazaar podcast, man. It's been a great chat.
Thanks for having me. Super excited for the show. Super excited to be here. Appreciate it.
And those little instant double exposures turn out so great.
So sick. I'm excited to scan them.
If you're enjoying the Art Bazaar podcast, please help us grow by liking and subscribing to the podcast. We want to reach a worldwide audience to help bring attention to all of the amazing creators and unique folks we bring on. They certainly deserve it. And that's all for now. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on Art Bazaar. Fuck Arts Quest.